Good evening and welcome to RTV News. I am Isabel Masozera, and now this is what we have that is making headlines for you here in Rwanda and across the globe. Now, hundreds of youth delegates in Kigali on Sunday took part in the Commonwealth Youth Forum that will continue for the next 3 days. In more news, the government of Rwanda has consoled those affected by the attacks that took place on Saturday, killing 2 people and injuring 6 others that were traveling through Nyungwe Forest. A very exciting day indeed today as we kicked off the Chogam meeting that is taking place here in Rwanda. Thanks for choosing RTV News. I am your host, Isabel Masozera, for tonight's Bulletin. Now, getting to our top story, hundreds of youth delegates met in Kigali on Sunday as part of the Commonwealth Youth Forum that will bring together for the next 3 days young people. Now, in extensive discussions featuring at the forum, youth delegates highlighted the need to take charge of the future, but also focusing on culture. As a vector for youth taking charge of the future, culture plays an essential role when it comes to promoting diversity and inclusivity.
So amazing to be in Kigali.
The Commonwealth Youth Forum, which is being held in parallel with the Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting 2022, running under the theme Taking Charge of Our Future, brought together hundreds of youth from all corners of the Commonwealth. According to some of the participants, the forum provides a unique platform for youth to build cross-cultural connections and networks, an opportunity to learn from each other, which they say is fundamental and can be a catalyst for you taking the reins of our future.
And I think that culture plays a pivotal role in constructing our future, especially coming together with different cultures. Growing up in a certain area, eating certain kinds of foods, participating in certain cultural celebrations. Everyone has their own unique perspectives on life and what's important and their values.
I think culture is definitely a unifying force. It is one of those things that truly brings people together in a very meaningful way. You know, it's almost, I think any great policy discussion, any great forum, you must start with introducing aspects of each other's culture, because culture breeds understanding, and understanding and mutual respect is how we grow and work together.
We also caught up with Gaspard Twagirayezu, Rwanda's Minister of State in charge of primary and secondary education, who reckons embracing cultural diversity is core to achieving a common future and devising solutions to complex global challenges, but believes it starts with embracing personal identity.
I think culture is a way for us to express ourselves through our own identity. And if you look at the theme that we are discussing today here, taking charge of our future, of course, I think it starts with our own voice, you know, as young people, as the youth. And it's very important that we sit down and listen to the young people, what they want and how they see their future. So, and the discussions that we are having here today are very important. And if I may give you a little example, when we were preparing for the Commonwealth, we ran a competition in our schools. We ran a drawing competition, and we asked our young people, primary school students, to imagine what the Commonwealth is through their being Rwandan, right? So, and we had many good drawings of young people who were not only imagining what the Commonwealth could be, but also telling us how they see it today. So, and I think education and culture, these are all mechanisms that are in place to help our young people find their voice. And as leaders, we should always be looking for that voice and to make sure that what we are doing, or the policies we are putting in place, the strategies that we are putting in place, are all responding to what the youth see themselves as, and also the future that they want to see.
The forum, which opened on Sunday, is the first of many at the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, bringing together 54 member countries in the Commonwealth family to discuss ways in which they can innovate, connect and transform in order to achieve some of its biggest common goals, like protecting natural resources and boosting trade.
It's been a successful day here at the Youth Forum. Very strong voices, strong opinions. But the one thing that has been a red thread throughout the day is that young people would love to take ownership and see themselves taking charge of the future. Isabel Masozera, RTV News. A very exciting day there indeed. Now, moving on, young people on the African continent have expressed confidence that the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting is a good platform to exchange ideas and practices to be implemented and to take charge of the future, as this year's theme at the Commonwealth Youth Forum states. Now, they have urged policymakers on government levels and other stakeholders to provide a wide platform and a space for young people to realize their dreams and take the lead for development agendas in particular countries. Now, alongside the ongoing CHOGM, RBA's Sam Kalisa had an interview with the representative of Cameroon's Youth Council.
For the young people, is an opportunity for us to be able to express ourselves regarding the different issues concerning young people in terms of entrepreneurship, employment, engagement of young people at the decision-making level, but also on education and health and well-being of the young people.
We are talking about this meeting being an amazing platform, if I could say.
Yeah.
But transitioning it from it being just a meeting, a forum that is happening, to the actual ground where the youth are being given the platform in all the sectors we were talking about, employment, education and everything. How do we really do this, and what is really needed to just take it out of the context of it being a meeting to the actual reality of the youth participating in all you're talking about?
So actually, the Cameroon National Youth Council is part of the General Assembly of the Commonwealth Youth Forum, and we had the opportunity to participate to previous meetings before coming here in Kigali. So there were many different meetings that we had the opportunity to discuss in terms of what are the contributions at the national level of the young people, what we are doing to tackle the different problematics that we are facing in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of employment, in terms of education and engagement into decision-making, but also governance concerning the young people participation for the building of their nations. So one thing that is very important for us to capture here is that these meetings have been prepared for a very long time, and it is based on the reality that we, the National Youth Council, Youth Association and Youth Movement of civil society, we are facing at the national level, that we are reporting back on the platform of Commonwealth. So it's not something that we did not work through a long period before coming and sit here and discuss toward the meeting, so that we can share good practices from each of the countries that are participating to this great platform, because it's an opportunity of connectivity, and also seizing the different opportunities that exist between the different countries members of Commonwealth and also youth leaders. And we like learning from each other, because there are always something that we are gaining out of this meeting. We can go back and implement good strategies that are implemented in other countries, and they can also take advantage or they can copy what is good that we are connecting, we are implementing back there into our countries. I can take, for instance, the example, Rwanda is a great platform that used to organize the Youth Connect Africa. We know where it started. It started here in Rwanda. But in Cameroon in 2019, we launched the Youth Connect Cameroon initiative, which is something great that today is helping young Cameroonians to be able to connect themselves to the opportunities, to the models, but also to be able to create more jobs and to fight against unemployment.
Fatima, talking about opportunities,
yes.
Do you think the youth are really being given enough platform to use the energy, to use the creativity, to use the, you know, all they have, just the knowledge and everything, towards achieving this future that we're talking about? We're talking about the future, but how about now? Do you think the youth are really being given enough platform?
So the young people, we as leaders, we always advocating to be able to have platforms so that young people can be able to express themselves, can be able to connect with each other, and also can be able to grab the different opportunities coming from different countries, but also from different structures like Commonwealth. And I think for the fact that we are going to have our head of state meeting during this CHOGM 2022 is a real definition, and also coming to participate to the Commonwealth Youth Forum is showing a specific platform that have been given to the young people to be able to come and express themselves, to be able to come and bring solutions on the table. And also the fact that this Commonwealth Youth Forum is being organized before the head of state meeting is something specific that shows the fact that things are moving forward, things are improving, because nowadays young people can sit, they decide for their future, they give the recommendations, and then they forward it to the meeting of the head of state, which is something that is showing that we are moving forward. It's a new problematic that, and a new type of leadership at the global level that the head of state are showing the young people that now we are careful about what you're requesting, what you're recommending to us, and we are ready to listen to you, to give you the platform to be able to discuss among yourself, you, the young people first, and then the intergenerational dialogue through transmitting what is the different, what are the outcomes of our meeting, so that they might be able to recommend and give the right guideline that we will be able to go and implement back there into our various countries.
All right, Fatima, as we head to the conclusion, what's your recommendation?
So our recommendation, first of all, in terms of governance, is to be able to create more spaces for young people at the level of decision making, because this Commonwealth Youth Forum is a step to be able to have young people at the decision-making level. We're having different forums going on during the CHOGM 2022. We're having the women for the Commonwealth Women Forum. It shows the place of gender, which is something that we should be able to encourage. There is the Commonwealth People Forum, the Commonwealth Business Forum. It's showing the fact that all the different stakeholders should sit on the same table, discuss, recommend, and then the head of state sit together to be able to recognize the job that have been done with all the different stakeholders and take it to be able to be implemented at the national level. And Commonwealth is playing an amazing role by mobilizing all these stakeholders and be able to mobilize our head of state is something that should be implemented again and again.
Thank you so much, Sam Kalisa, for that insightful interview. You are still watching RTV News. Moving on, gatherings like the ongoing Commonwealth Youth Forum are meant to help find solutions for the many problems young people face all around the world. But how do you approach such a task? That was the question I asked Darian Narine, who is the co-chair of the Commonwealth Youth Forum Task Force, and this is what he had to say. What do you make of our youth in terms of taking ownership and charge of our future?
No, I'm always very amazed by what the youth here are doing in Rwanda, specifically the young women as well. I think that's quite fantastic. I mean, when you look at the breakdown in terms of your gender equity and gender equality across the board, you all have sometimes, I was reading somewhere that you all have the most female top CEOs.
Yes.
Fantastic. I mean, in Parliament, you know, it's majority women.
Yes.
You don't see that anywhere across the globe just like that. So I think that you all are making some fantastic strides here. You're definitely seeing the passion for young people and for youth work and of course youth development as well. And I just want to commend you all. I think that this is such a fabulous place. I think that you all are definitely movers and shakers and setting, of course, the tone for almost the rest of the globe in a lot of different areas and a lot of different aspects. Yeah. One being how clean here is. I can't get over how clean Rwanda is. Yeah.
Knowing that you're coming to a country that has positioned itself very strongly when it comes to gender equality, was that a big factor for you in terms of representation for this particular forum?
110%. I mean, I'm the co-chair. My other chair, she's a female, yeah, and from Rwanda. Yes. A Lodi, fantastic person, amazing person to work with. And of course, the rest of our team, there are a lot of women who make up our team as well, the task force itself. We made sure to look at that and to ensure that there was equity on the task force and as well that there was proper representation across all countries, across all regions as well.
What are some of the top challenges that you feel like young people within the Commonwealth countries have in common that you think a platform like this could help tackle?
Sure, I think employment is a big one, just off the top of my head. You know, a lot of young people are underemployed, unemployed. We have so many issues around that. And of course, if you don't have solid employment, then you can't have sustainable livelihoods, right? Buying property, buying land, etc. All of this, building your house, building a family becomes difficult. So I think employment is definitely one of those that are at the top. Of course, we have all the others like health and safety, health and COVID-19 now, a big one that's trending. We're looking at governance and the rule of law as well, and so many others that tie into, of course, the 6 themes of CHOGM.
The one thing people should not forget as they leave this meeting, look right in that camera, talk to some young people around the world.
Great. So remember, your network is your net worth. Make sure and go out there. Always try to meet new people, as many new people as possible, and to have meaningful discussions. That is so important, so essential. And of course, we're happy to be here for the Commonwealth 2022 in Kigali, Rwanda.
All right, Murakoze. That's what we say. Thank you. That's how we say thank you.
Dabakunda.
Now we need to get your Rwandan name.
No, yes.
Right, such a great time and electric energy at the Youth Forum. Still making headlines, as well as you know, more than 350 young people from all over the world are gathering at the Intare Conference Arena for 3 consecutive days here in Kigali for the Commonwealth Youth Forum that is ahead of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. Now, Kendo Vincent, the chairperson of the Caribbean Regional Youth Council, shares his thoughts on the change needed in line with the forum's theme, that is taking charge of our future.
Taking charge of our future means really young people being at the forefront of our development, as well as, you know, taking personal responsibility towards charging the future that we want to see, towards building a better, you know, Commonwealth. I'm really excited about the opportunity. Of course, I just want to say the amazing hospitality that we've been receiving from the Rwandan or Rwandese persons. I what we're really looking forward to coming out of this summit is like action, because you know so much times as young persons we attend a lot of dialogue, a lot of talk, and no action. So one of the things that I'm really looking for and excited about is of course action coming out of the, I'm really excited, I'm loving the atmosphere, the environment, the culture, and as well of course, you know, the people. So I'm looking forward to, you know, us having some really tangible action outcomes so that next sugar we can look back and see Rwanda and the outcomes coming from this summit was one that was, you know, valuable and there's, you know, some success. So I think what is needed is really for society and for young persons to reframe how we view ourselves. So instead of depending on, like, you know, the government or depending on someone else to chart our future, I think it's really important for young persons to be able to accept personal responsibility and see our role, and then, you know, of course, apart from personal responsibility and understanding and seeing our role, is then how we can, you know, how governments and stakeholders, private sector, you know, different actors can really kind of, like I've been saying and I've been saying repeatedly, is not just about saying that we have a young person for, like, you know, maybe tokenism or just, you know, having the word youth there, but really giving young persons the opportunity, to really, like, put them in decision-making roles, let them, you know, stand the consequences of their actions. And I think, you know, that is one of the ways in terms of repositioning how we see young people and how we engage young people, really giving them that seat at the table and not just having them there as placeholders, but ensuring that they're actively able to engage and participate, and that their views, most importantly, are valued and respected.
And that is Kendall Vincent reiterating the need for young people to have a seat at the table. We now hear from Beth Bulletin from the Association of the Commonwealth Universities, who explains what the forum's theme means in her field of education.
Association of Commonwealth Universities, and we believe that higher education will be the most important means that we have in which to tackle global challenges and realise the Sustainable Development Goals. Taking charge of the future to me means educating the next generation of students and young people in order to come together across borders to work collaboratively to tackle global challenges. We do that at the Association of Commonwealth Universities through delivering scholarship schemes, and I'm really proud that we have a number of our scholars here today at the Youth Forum with us. So I'm really looking forward to the forum and hearing how youth are going to come together and really take charge of the future.
Montez Williams shares with us the Undersecretary, beg your pardon, of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture from the Bahamas, who is highlighting the way forward for young people after the forum has ended.
To me, I think it is such an appropriate theme for this time, because the world is actually our oyster. More and more, our young people are exposed to so many worldwide opportunities, and it's up to them to take advantage of this time. When I was growing up, we did not always have these opportunities to be so welcomed by the world, to work and to play and to even travel. And so I think our young people need to really realize that the world is their oyster and they can do absolutely anything. Well, I expect we have two Bahamian delegates here. We have our Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture here, and we have the Director of Youth here, and myself, of course. All of us are going to go back to the Bahamas and inspire our young people to dream, to innovate, to think about technology in new ways, to use it in new ways. We have so many young people with so many opportunities before them, and we're going to inspire Bahamians to be not just Bahamians in the Bahamas, but Bahamians in the world. Open your mind. This is the most important tool. Not money. It is the mind. We have the power to change something as simple as racism if we can only change our minds.
Thanks for keeping it RTV News. Now, the government of Rwanda has consoled those affected by the attack that happened on Saturday that killed 2 people and injured 6 others as they traveled through Nyungwe Forest. Now, those that were injured have expressed gratitude for the way they have been cared for. Jen Mutoni now reports.
At the Butare University Hospital, officials in the southern province are speaking to those who were injured during the attack in the Nyungwe forest on Saturday.
We've been well taken care of. They removed the bullet from my body. We are very grateful to the government. This shows how much it cares for Rwandan citizens.
5 patients have been admitted at the hospital, and doctors confirmed that one of them was being treated at Seashka Hospital in Nyamagabe, where the crime took place. Life is continuing as usual. Local residents in various sectors close to Nyungwe National Park had a meeting this week with the Southern Province authorities to convey the message from the government. The message we convey from the government to the people is that it consoles people who were victims of the tragic incident. According to a police statement, 2 people were killed and 6 were injured, and consoled the victims. We visited the injured and they are doing well as they are being treated by doctors. We urge residents through their leaders to not feel threatened because the national security is on top of the issue, and to know that those who were involved in this incident will be captured and punished according to the law. We also encourage residents to continue their activities and not feel discouraged. The families that lost their loved ones and those that were injured in the incident will be supported by the government in terms of getting treatment and giving a proper burial to the ones that lost their lives. Local leaders also say that security has been put at the forefront and that they are going to step up their efforts.
Our security is based on night guarding, and we urge residents to provide information concerning anything unusual on time. We need to be more alert.
The 5 sectors in Nyamagabe district that are close in proximity to Nyungwe forest appear to be in good standing in the various aspects, including being rich in wheat, potato and tea plantations. Residents were reminded that sustainable development can only be maintained with security. Jane Mutoni, RTV News.
Thank you, Jen. Now on Sunday, in a retreat that brought together various members of the Pan-African movement, discussions held on training new leaders of the organizations were to focus on mindset based on the country's vision and governance that prioritizes transformation. The retreat was aimed at building the capacity of these leaders so that they can fulfill their responsibilities efficiently. It is expected that the new team will serve 3 years.
Discussions held here are important. It is an induction, and the retreat joined various leaders for them to properly understand the responsibilities that they will be handling, because this is not an easy task.
It is very important because these leaders come from various places, for them to lead the organization better with the same vision. There are things they need to understand. So today's retreat aimed at training them on different values and responsibilities of this movement to collectively understand it and channel the strategies in that same vision.
That inspiring report brings us to the end of our time with you. Thank you so much for the pleasure of your company. Do keep it RTV News. We do have our French edition coming up.